Have you ever noticed that growing a business seems kind of easy at first? You take care of your customers, you deliver great service, and then you look for ways to reduce your income taxes. Simple, right? But then something very strange starts to happen. You have more sales, you have more employees, but somehow you have less cash. And you're left wondering why. How on earth could this possibly happen? Well, what's really happening behind the scenes is that you're only growing a small portion of your business. And today I'm going to share with you the framework that I call the growth matrix. And once you see it, you'll start to understand why some companies grow stronger as they scale, while other companies seem to just grow their problems. So the growth matrix is a framework where I've got three core pillars: people, systems, and money. And inside each one, there are three areas that you must balance. So let's dive in. The first pillar is people. And most business owners only think about one type of person in their company, and it's the customer. Customers buy your services and they expect you to deliver what you promised on time. And there are actually two more groups of people that we need to consider. The first one is the company. It is a separate entity that has its own needs and personality. Everyone involved in the business would like to see the company operate for decades. It needs to be able to survive and thrive without you. If everything runs through you personally, you don't have a business. You have a job. So you got to treat the company as a separate entity that requires investment, attention, and protection. Also, under the company umbrella, you also need to consider the investors. That's a group of people, and it would include you as the owner. You provide support to the company through your money, expertise, and your time, and investors expect a return on their investment and for the risk that they take for investing in the company. Also, vendors. That's part of the company umbrella. They provide goods and services to support the company and they expect to be paid on time. Also, we cannot forget the community. The community is impacted by the jobs that you create and the valuable services that you provide. Companies love supporting reputable companies that they're proud of. And last but not least, in the people group, your employees support the company's ability to operate, and they expect you to provide a great place to work and to be paid on time. If your team isn't aligned, trained, and supported, no amount of customer focus will save your business. Now, I want you to notice how each group has a different expectation that you must balance them all in order for the company to be successful. When you and your team only focus on the customer, the business tends to get out of balance. The second pillar is your systems. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day activities of delivering great service by focusing on doing the work. This is where businesses spend 90% of their time. But there are three layers in this pillar as well. First one we want to talk about is the plan. What is your overall strategy? Where is the business headed? This is where you plan what your team will do. Also, you need to communicate the plan and set expectations for your team. The third area is the reflection point. This is a key system that owners often skip, and it's the most valuable. This is where you need to ask yourself, what's working? What isn't? What should we do more of? What should we stop? Here's the danger of skipping this step. If you just keep doing without reflecting, you don't grow the business, you grow the problems. Every flaw in your process scales right along with you. Now, here's where it gets really interesting: money. Most business owners treat their finance like they're meeting a deadline. They've got an obligation. They've got a compliance task on their to-do list. So they're focused on that annual tax return, running payroll. They're just doing everything they can to stay out of hot water from the payroll agencies and then also the tax authorities. And that's it. That's all they really focus in on from a money standpoint. And yes, don't get me wrong, all of that stuff matters, but it is the floor, not the ceiling. There are actually 3 dimensions to money in a business. So strategic, this is the big picture. Are you charging the right price? Do you have the capital and capacity to grow? Are your employees trained to do the work that matches your financial plan? A lot of businesses grow their revenue and actually lose money because they never ask these questions. Also, you need to consider the operational side of money. This is where money actually moves. This is where 95% of what you can do in your business, you can actually control it. I want you to think about it like a cycle. You start with working capital, you invest in marketing to attract leads, your sales team converts the leads, you deliver the service, you invoice and collect, and then you replenish the working capital and you start the cycle again. Every one of those steps is a place where cash can either stall or disappear. Managing money operationally means managing that entire cycle, not just the year-end tax bill. When I work with business owners and map out where they're actually spending their attention, almost everyone falls in the same pattern. They focus on customers and doing the work, and the only financial report is the annual tax return so they can stay in compliance with the IRS. That's 3 out of 9 boxes, one lane straight down the middle. And this method works until it doesn't. When the business grows, everything breaks. So why do you think that these 3 areas get the most attention? It's because they scream at you if you ignore them too long. They become the squeaky wheel. A financially strong business doesn't just stay in the center lane. Before you hit the gas pedal and start scaling your business, I want you to consider looking at all 9 areas of the growth matrix. Are you treating your company like the asset that it is? Do you have employees who are equipped to grow with you? Are you actually taking the time to reflect on your systems or just actually doing the work? Do you have a strategic, realistic plan for your finances? And have you considered how your operational cash flow is set up? Do you naturally have the money and the systems, everything that you need to grow the business? I know you're probably thinking, this is a lot. Where do I start? But there's good news. You don't have to tackle all 9 areas at one time. There are 3 power areas that naturally push the whole business forward. And together, they solve about 96% of the problems that I see in growing businesses. So the first one is you must equip your employees for success. Business is a team sport. Your employees are making decisions every single day. And if they don't understand how their decision affects the company, the customer experience, the culture, like their effect on the coworkers, and then also cash flow, you're leaving a lot to chance. When your team understands the bigger picture, they stop making expensive mistakes and start actually making smart ones. So I encourage you to train them, include them, and invest in them. The second thing is to make time to reflect. I promise you it's worth it. It's going to be a little bit slow at first, but it will turn into second nature before you know it. Block the time, protect it, and use that time to really ask yourself what's working, what's not working, what needs to change. You don't need to overhaul everything overnight. That's not the point. You just need to commit to making 1% improvements today so that way tomorrow is a little bit better. When you do that consistently, before you know it, you will have a healthy, thriving company. Last but not least, you need to charge the right price. This one is crucial and a lot of business owners get it wrong. Here's the truth. Your customers are the only sustainable source of money your business has. Everything flows from the price that you charge. Pricing actually lives in 2 places in the growth matrix: your strategic planning and your operations. During the strategic planning process, you determine the value of your services and you build a pricing model that actually works. Also, from an operational standpoint, your team must follow the systems and procedures that you've put in place so that way whatever you planned, during your pricing strategy session, it actually turns into that profit and actual cash flow. Because when you think about it from an operational standpoint, your marketing must communicate the value that you provide. Your sales team must close the sale without relying on discounts. Services must be delivered on time within budget without a bunch of mistakes. And a sale is not a sale until you actually get paid. So don't forget to send the invoice and collect the money. Which area of the growth matrix are you neglecting most? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. If you find this video helpful, please hit the like and subscribe button. I publish videos every week on building a business that's actually financially strong, not just busy. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.